Prison inmates are tremendously affected by transfers to other prisons. Whether the prisoners are affected mentally, physically, or emotionally, these impacts unfortunately go unnoticed. While logging the surveys of the inmates, we found that most of them are being transferred more than twice. In rare cases, the prisoners reported that they have seen 6 to 8 different facilities during their incarceration. After conducting research, we found that forceful transfers of humans have historical significance that trace back to the Atlantic slave trade until now in the modern present. The Atlantic slave trade, taking place between 1400s and the 1900s, resulted in millions of Africans being forcefully shipped to the Americas by European settlers. Via the Middle Passage, innocent beings were kidnapped from their homes and exported to another country. Prison transfers have the same impact on prisoners today, and whether they're innocent or not, human is a characteristic they all share, and they should be treated accordingly. More of the same took place on slave plantations. Slaves were actively being sold and traded away, with no regard for their humanity. The aforementioned impact the transfers have on the prisoners can be conveyed in this clip from Roots, where a family is torn apart by the order of the slave master.
Please, Master, I beg you, please, don't sell her. Please, Master.
She's already been sold.
Oh, then, Master, please sell me in bed with her. But don't split up the family, Master. You ain't never been that kind of man. Please, Master.
Mr. Tom Moore owns Kizzy now. Mr. Odell will take her away today.
Master.
No, I don't want to go.
God, my baby.
No, Mama! Mama, no! Mama! It's here, please. Please, bring here, please. Help me, help me. Mama!
Families are already affected by the imprisonment of a relative. To have them transferred away physically and emotionally distances the inmates from their families and a support system they have known for their entire lives. According to the surveys we logged, the factor that prevented the inmates from having frequent visitors was the distance between them and their families. As stated by Alex Kiggerl and Zachary Hamilton, there are multiple reasons for a prison transfer, some of which may relate to misconduct. However, one reason in particular is rather controversial: prison overcrowding. We found in our close reading of Sally Haddon's slave patrols that the post-abolition period gave rise to mass incarceration. It is conceivable that mass incarceration played a role in the myriad of inmate transfers as prisoners do get overcrowded.
Inside the Placer County Jail, 80 inmates are here because of prison realignment. There are days when it's crowded.
Because of realignment, have you had to release prisoners here?
Yeah, we've had to release a few due to the need for certain bed space.
How do you determine who you let go?
Based on a hierarchy of charges, obviously lower level property crimes, lesser crimes, and things will get released first. And then there's some people we just can't release, obviously.
Random transfers also disrupt and promptly diminish any progress the inmates make towards self-improvement. Having to constantly readjust to new facilities inhibits their ability to focus on their education. There were instances where inmates were unable to continue rehabilitation or educational programs due to abrupt transfers. Also, according to the inmates, a strong support system is rather difficult to obtain on the inside. Due to the constant transfers, the inmates are denied the opportunity to make the best of an unfortunate circumstance by developing friendships. The process of transferring inmates in the prison system we see today is something that we have seen throughout the history of this country during the transatlantic slave trade. whether they are slaves being brought to another plantation or inmates being transferred to a different facility. We see these individuals' lives changing and families are being broken up. Upon reading about the experiences of the inmates and conducting further research, it is both shocking and sobering to find that history is merely repeating itself through the transfer of prisoners.